Hi everyone. For this portion of Monsoon Awareness Week, we're going to talk about extreme heat and its impacts and provide you some safety tips. This is Alex Tardy with National Weather Service. All right, each year with the Monsoon Awareness Week, we take the time to highlight heat as it is the most significant impact when it comes to the monsoon. We'll talk more detail about that. When you look at the fatalities across the United States, heat is number one. That's the 30-year average. And especially in the southwestern United States, heat is the most significant impact on our population. The National Weather Service issues various heat alerts. Those come in the form of warnings, watches, and advisories. And often you'll see those displayed on a map like shown here. The National Weather Service sends out messages about the potential heat waves setting up well in advance. As you can see in this timeline, we send out a heads-up message that might be on social media or other forms of outlooks as early as 10 days in advance. When we get closer to the event, and it still looks like it's going to be a significant heat wave, a watch may be issued in days 2 to 5. Warnings are issued when it's closer to the event and it still appears extreme with high impact, days 1 through 4. And then if it looks like it'll be less impact but still significant to some of our population, an advisory may be issued days 1 through 2. The National Weather Service issues heat advisories and warnings, and they'll be posted on our webpage like is shown in this example here. National Weather Service also issues weather stories on social media and our webpage that'll highlight heat. It'll give you the context of the heat and also the heat risk. So it gives you an idea of what the actual impact will be in a particular heat wave or particular day for your region. Let's talk about a heat wave. The heat across the southwestern United States is basically not from the sunshine, but from a large dome of high pressure that sets up over our region. It occurs at different strengths at different times of the year. It's most prevalent in July and August. When this dome high pressure, basically blocking all storms into our region, sets up over the desert southwest, that is when we can see some of our most extreme heat waves in June, July, and August. Sometimes those heat waves can last all the way into September or even October. Now, also, the National Weather Service issues a product called Heat Risk. Heat Risk helps us determine whether we need to issue a watch, advisory, or warning across the West. One thing about heat risk is that it considers the climatology or the seasonal averages of the temperatures. So a heat wave in May may be much more significant than a heat wave in August given the same temperature. Heat risk is available on the National Weather Service website provided. Here's an example of the difference between heat risk and just regular high temperature. On the left-hand side is high temperatures, and on the right-hand side is heat risk. In this example, focus on the desert regions such as Palm Springs. Now, a forecast of 122 might sound like a hot day, but a common hot day across Palm Springs. But in fact, it's not. And heat risk shows us in purple that this is extreme heat even for the desert. So heat can basically take a look at the climatology or the seasonal averages and factor in the departure from normal to those averages in any particular heat wave and really give a nice indication of how significant a particular day or particular heat wave is in your particular region. Intense heat can happen anywhere. It's not just the deserts, and the deserts can be particularly susceptible to intense heat across the western United States. When we observe the heat, we take a temperature at a weather station, such as an airport. But as this example shows, the temperature on the ground that you're walking on could be 20 degrees hotter than the actual air temperature. This can be a problem, especially for any outdoor activities such as playgrounds or soccer fields. The temperature outside can be measured in many different ways. Your car thermometer is one way. You can also take a handheld instrument or use the official report from the National Weather Service weather stations, which are typically located at airports. The National Weather Service records temperatures across the region, and these temperatures are used to show a history of how hot it's been and also indicate whether records have occurred and what the departure is from normal. These temperatures also develop our actual averages that are an average of 30 years of data to come up with what we call normal temperatures. Heat and heat waves can be an impact even in dry heat or even in windy conditions. Now your body will naturally sweat, and that helps you cool off from the heat, but prolonged exposure to temperatures even when it's windy or dry can result in heat exhaustion or even heat stroke. Let's take a look at some heat safety tips now. If you visit weather.gov/heat, you can learn about some practices you can perform on the job, indoors, in a vehicle, or if you must go outdoors and have activities such as recreation or play. One thing to consider with heat, it's not just the temperature. Every year we see children succumb to the heat after being left in vehicles. The noheatstroke.org is a website which promotes safety and reminders about this tragic impact. Heat-related fatalities. The National Weather Service promotes the look before you lock. Heat fatalities are a serious problem across all of the United States, and it's not just when the temperature is extreme outdoors. A closed vehicle can heat up rapidly and be 30 to 40 degrees warmer than the outside temperature. You may not think of this one every day, but heat and safety for our pets is also very important. It's critical that you pay attention to the environment around you. Leaving your pet in a vehicle could be devastating. Leaving your pet without water could also be an impact. Your pets may not have access to air conditioning or shade as easy as we do. Please consider your pets when conditions are hot. Heat can affect our bodies in many different ways. On the left-hand side is heat exhaustion. Even if it's windy, even if the air is dry, prolonged exposure outdoors without breaks, without shade, without hydration can result in some of these symptoms. It's important to take immediate action if you observe those on yourself or anyone else. Now on the right-hand side is the red shade. If you start getting into this territory, you are likely moving into the heat stroke, the most serious. If we take the precautions on the left-hand side with the early signs of heat exhaustion, we can avoid the heat stroke. The National Weather Service has a summer heat safety campaign. We promote rescheduling your outdoor activities during the cooler times of the day. Check on the children, seniors, and anyone with health problems. They are the first to be impacted, and they may not have the appropriate cooling or shade that most of us take for granted. Weather.gov Heat has additional information. All right, staying safe on the hot days. Here are some tips. If you must take prescription drugs, be aware that those can make you more sensitive to heat and sunlight. Check with your doctor. If you have to do outdoor activities like yard work or even exercise, take frequent breaks. Never leave your pets or children alone in hot cars. Stay hydrated. That is key. Lots of water. Do not wait until you're thirsty. If possible, plan your outdoor activities during the cooler times of the day, early morning or late in the evening. And most importantly, if you start feeling fatigued, dizzy, faint, your face is turning red, excessive sweating, you are likely entering into heat exhaustion or even heat stroke. So you must call 911 or visit urgent care.